Yamunatira vanachari Yamunatira vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Vishupad Paramamsa Prajāpateḥ Ashtotara Sata Sri Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Esi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jaya Vishupad Paramamsa Prajāpateḥ Ashtotara Sata Sri Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sikho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Srimati Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Sri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan Ki Jai Sri Sri Gaunitai Ki Jai Sri Sri Jagannath Subhadra Baladev Ki Jai Gaura Premanandi All glories to the Sambhadevatis, all glories to the Sambhadevatis, all glories to the Sambhadevatis, all glories to Sri Guru Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Vasavudare, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine, Namaste Saraswate Devi, Gauravani Pacharini, Nirvishesha Sunyavadi, paśyata Tarini. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. Today we are reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, fourth skanda, first chapter, sloka number 89. Huh? Aho anātmyam mahat asya paśyata prajāpateḥ yasya cara-acaram prajāḥ jahau asūn yad-vimatātmajā ātma-jā Satī manasvinī mānam abhīkṣṇam arhati aho anātmyam mahadasya paśyata prajāpateḥ yasya cara-acaram prajāḥ jahau asūn yad-vimatātmajā Satī manasvinī mānam abhīkṣṇam arhati aho anātmyam mahad asya paśyata prajāpateḥ yasya cara-acaram prajāḥ jahāv asūn yad-vimatātmajā Satī manasvinī mānam abhīkṣṇam arhati aho anātmyam mahad asya paśyata prajāpateḥ yasya cara-acaram prajāḥ jahau asūn yad-vimatātmajā Satī manasvinī mānam abhīkṣṇam arhati. Vaishnavis. Sri Sri Gaunitai ki jai, Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan ki jai, Sri Sri Jagannath Subhadra Baladev ki jai. Aho, oh, anātmyam, neglect, mahat, great, asya, of Dakṣa, paśyata, just see, Prajāpateḥ, of the Prajāpati, yasya, of whom, cara-acaram, all living entities, prajāḥ, offspring, jahau, gave up, asūn, her body, yet by whom, vimatā, disrespected, ātma-jā, his own daughter, Satī, manasvinī, voluntarily, manam, respect, abhīkṣṇam, repeatedly, arhati, deserved. Translation: it was astonishing that Dakṣa, who was Prajāpati, the maintainer of all living entities, was so disrespectful to his own daughter, Satī, who was not only chaste but was also a great soul, that she gave up her body because of his neglect. Please repeat. It was astonishing that Dakṣa, who was Prajāpati, the maintainer of all living entities, was so disrespectful to his own daughter, Satī, who was not only chaste, but was also a great soul, that she gave up her body because of his neglect. Purport by Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The word anātmyam is significant. Ātma-jā means the life of the soul. So this word indicates that although Dakṣa appeared to be living, actually was a dead body. Otherwise, how could he neglect Satī, who was his own daughter? It was a duty of Dakṣa to look after the maintenance and comforts of all living entities, because he was situated as Prajāpati, the governor of all living entities. Therefore, how is it that he neglected his own daughter, who was the most exalted and chaste woman, a great soul, and who therefore deserved the most respectful treatment from her father? The death of Satī, because of her being neglected by Dakṣa, her father, was most astonishing to all the great demigods of the universe. Om ajnānatimrandhasya jnananjana-salakaya chakṣuranmilitam yena tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapadakamaram Sri Gurun Vaishnavansya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakam Vitansya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneswari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Padamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. In this chapter, Satī quits her body. It has been described how after Dakṣa insulted Lord Shiva, not inviting Lord Shiva or Satī for the yajna, Satī Devi went to the yajna anyway, and there she could not convince her father of the greatness of Lord Shiva, her husband. And Dakṣa continued his neglectful or offensive attitude towards Lord Shiva, and including his own daughter. So in this way, Satī Devi became very much upset, so much so that she decided to give up her body. That is the ultimate action if somebody is very much frustrated in his life, or for some other extraordinary reason, just as the loss of a dear husband or relative, a person thinks that he cannot continue his life in the absence of such a person, then he commits suicide, or for some other reason, generally for something that he could not do in his life. Now his life has become worthless. So there are many cases of suicide in human society, but here is a very great example of a suicide committed by Satī Devi. because her husband, Lord Shiva, has been insulted, so she could not tolerate this. And that offense was committed by her own father. So this is also an additional reason. So she wants to disconnect herself with her father. She is looking forward to another birth as a wife of Lord Shiva. The next birth, she will also be the wife of Lord Shiva. But she will not be the daughter of Dakṣa. So she wants to be free from this relationship with her father that she considers most abominable. So this is the example here given by Dakṣa, by Satī, of giving up her body for some valuable reason. Satī became an example for all time to come after that, because in the Sanatana Dharma society, the tradition became that when the husband passes away, the wife cannot maintain her life anymore and commits Satī. So Satī became a word for the wife to give up her body when the husband passes away. There are many such examples, and very famous is Madri. Madri was the wife of Pandu, but when Pandu left his body because of a curse, the curse was that when he would unite with his wife, then he would have to give up his body. So this is what happened, and Pandu in this way left his body, and when Madri saw this, then after the funeral rites at that time, then she entered the fire that was consuming her husband's body. So in this way, she committed Satī. Similarly, at that time also, Kunti Devi wanted to also commit Satī, giving up her body at the passing away of Pandu. But Vedavyas told her, no, do not do this, because now you have to look after your children, your 5 Pandavas. You have to be the mother, you have to raise them up, and later on you will have to stay with them throughout life and guide them in this way. So that was a higher duty. Even if we consider Satī to be the duty of the wife at the passing away of the husband, but Vedavyas told Kunti Devi, no, you have a higher duty to look after your children. So you understand that this is not absolute duty for the wife to give up her body after the husband passes away. The other considerations also should be there. And but anyway, the example shown by Satī Devi became very famous, and throughout the ages, it was the custom that the wife gives up the body after the husband. When the Britishers came to India, ruling the country, they considered this practice to be most barbaric. Barbaric means uncivilized. It was not in their tradition that the wife should give up the body when the husband passes away. Life should be maintained. So in the middle of the 19th century, this practice of Satī was banned by the Britishers. It was very much prevalent in Rajasthan, especially Bengal and some places. And still it is continued even after being banned and made unlawful, illegal, and condemnable. But still it is practiced in some places, some villages of Rajasthan. It is still there. But generally, it has been given up in the society. So, the example shown by Satī Devi may have been appropriate at that time, but because of different circumstances, the practice of Satī, even Vedavyas, did not approve it. So in this way, it should be considered very wisely. But now, anyway, nobody is doing it, practically speaking. There are other practices. Instead of giving up the body, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had given advice to one devotee of the Lord, that he was made a Muslim by his servant. The story is well known, as narrated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that he was a landowner and he had a servant, a Muslim servant. The Muslim servant committed a mistake and he was beaten by the master. Later on, that Muslim servant married, and the wife saw on his back some marks of a strike, injury, and she asked her husband that, what is this? And then so the Muslim husband told her that in my young age, I was employed by a Hindu master and I committed some mistake and he beat me. So that is a mark on my body. So the wife was very much upset, and she said that this is very bad. How can he beat you like this? So you go to him and just kill him. So the Muslim boy said, no, I cannot kill him. Then if you cannot kill him, at least make him a Muslim. So in this way, that's a very easy process to make somebody Muslim, that he took some water from a water pot and went to his former master and sprayed some water from his water pot. In this way, and the former master considered, now become Muslim. That was the easy way to make people Muslims at that time, simply sprinkling water like that. So he was considered a Muslim, so he thought, my life is now finished. What is the use? I've become Muslim, I don't want to continue my life. So anyway, he went to some brahmanas and asked them for advice. So one brahmana said, all right, now you can give up your body. You take some hot boiling ghee and you swallow it. In this way, you can give up your body, like that. So like that, other people also suggested some methods of giving up the body. So fortunately, this gentleman came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and told him also what to do next. I'm very much upset. I cannot continue my life. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, don't commit suicide. No. You go to Vrindavan, you give up everything, go to Vrindavan, and chant the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So you lead a saintly life, very useful life. You will get all the mercy of Lord Krishna in Vrindavan. In this way, chanting the holy names of Lord Krishna, there cannot be any better life than this. In this way, you will spend your life and you will be most benefited. So in this way, this gentleman went to Vrindavan and followed the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, constantly chanting the holy names of the Lord in Vrindavan. So this is the real remedy for those who are disgusted with their life, they should clearly consider that committed suicide is no solution. Mostly, they will become a ghost. If they don't want the body, if they commit suicide, then they take the life of a ghost. And as a ghost is very miserable, they don't have any gross body, only a settled body, always hankering for enjoyment with a gross body. That is the life of a ghost. So that should not be done. Instead of that, following the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everybody should consider to dedicate his life in the service of Lord Krishna, constantly chanting the holy names of the Lord and engaging in the service of the Lord in the holy place like Vrindavan or Navadvip, Puri, and so on. So this is exactly the instructions given to us by the acharyas in the disciplic succession, that life can be utilized in that manner. There is no question of giving up life altogether, but to utilize this human form of life for the real purpose of Krishna and Guru Seva. So the body is very precious. A human body should never be considered useless. There is a somewhat humorous, interesting episode in the Srila Prabhupada preaching activities when he was in New York in the small temple, 26 2nd Avenue. He had gathered a few followers. That was at the beginning. And one of the boys, I think that was Swedish, but I'm not so sure. I don't know, maybe. Anyway, one of the boys who a follower, he may have taken Dakṣa also at that time, but he became somewhat very despondent for some reason, and he had decided to commit suicide. And so he approached Srila Prabhupada. That was very good on his part, that he approached his Guru Maharaj for that. And he told Srila Prabhupada that now I don't want to continue. So I need some money. I need $2. I want to purchase 1 liter of petrol. So what Prabhupada asked, why you need 1 liter of petrol? Yeah, I'll pour on my body, then I'll put fire. Then I'll give up my body like that. Oh, you need $2. Oh, Prabhupada said, I don't know. I'll ask our treasurer, the temple treasurer, Gargamuni. So Prabhupada went to Gargamuni. Yes, Gargamuni, you have $2? Gargamuni said, no, Prabhupada, no. I don't have $2. No, the box is empty today. There is nothing in the box. Oh, then Prabhupada, so I'm very sorry. You see, the treasurer, no, we don't have $2. What to do? All right, then just be peaceful. Continue like that. No problem. So that is how Prabhupada didn't give exactly a long philosophical argument, but he just in a humorous manner, he pacified his disciple like that. So that was a very interesting episode in Prabhupada's preaching, how he is preaching according to time and circumstance. Prabhupada uses different arguments according to the level of the audience. This is how perfect Acharya Srila Prabhupada is, always preaching Krishna consciousness according to circumstances. So otherwise, Satī Devi, in this case, she gave up her body. And again, she took birth then as the daughter of Himalaya as Parvati. Her mother was Mena. Mena is the daughter of Mahameru. So she had a very exalted father and mother, and immediately she could again become the wife of Lord Shiva. So that is exceptional behavior on the part of Satī that cannot be imitated. See, why the Britishers actually condemned this practice of Satī, some people may say it is a very pious, a chaste wife in this way, acting very piously, so much so that she gives up her body along with her husband. So sahagamana. Wherever the husband will go, the wife also will go and will join the husband in the next life. That is sahagamana. But what happened is, what the Britishers could see is that in most of the cases, it was not voluntary. Like here it is said that voluntary. So anyway, yes, manasvinī, voluntarily. But what was happening in course of time as Kali Yuga progresses, it was not practiced in a voluntary manner, but by force. Now the relative, they tell the wife, "Oh, your husband is already dead? No, you also join him. You jump in the fire. This is your duty." And they're pushing the wife in the fire. So it is not voluntary. So the Britishers saw that and they considered this to be very abominable practice. So they didn't want to continue this practice and they banned it. So voluntary practice is one thing, and if somebody is forcing, that is different. With a full will and full consciousness in this way, Satī got a new body and became again a wife of Lord Shiva, but without being the daughter of Dakṣa. That is what she wanted to stop. I don't want to have anything to do with Dakṣa, a great offender. So all the persons who were attending the yajna, all the demigods and other sages, they were very much surprised. Why this Satī Devi? Why did she give up the body in this way? She has all the facilities. She is the wife of a great husband. She is daughter of a great father. She is so fortunate. Why she is giving up her body like this? So they were very much astonished, but they also understood that the reason was ultimately because Dakṣa was a great offender. In this way, Satī wanted to give up her connection with Dakṣa. So that was the reason why Satī Devi observed this act, giving up the body. Now, many following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are going to Vrindavan in order to give up their bodies. That is also practiced by devotees of the Lord. Just like there are many, or some widows ashram, many Bengali ladies are there. Their husband passed away, but instead of living in the middle of their family and continuing material life, they have chosen a spiritual life, going to Vrindavan and retiring in an ashram. So widows' ashrams are there, and that is a very good practice. Similarly, in ISKCON also, some ashrams are there for those who want to give up their bodies, or those who are old enough, or those who are very sick. the hospital where those who are terminally ill, they can stay there, and quickly they can give up their bodies in this way in Vrindavan, practicing Krishna consciousness and thinking of Krishna in a very spiritual atmosphere. So that practice can be done in this manner when the circumstances are such and when there is no other choice, that death is imminent. Then it is a good practice to go to Vrindavan or Puri in this way, Anandamaya Pr, and give up the body there in the favorable circumstances in this manner. So I remember that our former BBT manager in Bombay, Narmada Swami, he was a very strict manager in his own life also. He was very strict. So when he was old enough and not feeling so well, then he gave up this managerial position, BBT Bombay, and he went to Vrindavan, and he told that now I'm going to give up the body. So he got some accommodation there. And a few months, I think within 6 months or so, he was eating very little and still going to the temple, taking darshan and chanting the holy names of the Lord, following temple programs, but no other thought, just concentrating on Krishna consciousness. In this way, he gave up his body. And everybody considered, oh, this is very auspicious. He has taken a very good decision. Even he was engaged in as a BBT manager. But at the end of his life, he went to Vrindavan in this manner. So it was approved. It was considered very good. And after he passed away, then he got all respect and honor from the ISKCON community there. And they took his body. He was buried next to the Yamuna. His samadhi is there. So he is respected for that at the end of his life, he did not become attached to some material post or position or anything material, but giving up everything, simply going to Vrindavan and be Krishna conscious, leaving the body there. So that was very good example, and some others also have done it. Some Mataji, I forgot also, she has done like that. Anyway, so this is example here given by Satī Devi, which cannot be done as a matter of imitation, but with full consciousness, whether it should be approved by authorities, by the spiritual master and other acharyas. In this way it can be done, but otherwise one should continue a life of Krishna consciousness as advised by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in this way making one's life perfect, using the body as an offering to Lord Krishna as the best offering. We can end this here. Any other questions or comments? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, actually, I'm seeing a lot of students out there in different intermediate colleges and many frustrated software employees. So, mainly in student community, Prabhuji, they are feeling a lot of stress because of they are bombarded with a lot of internet and a lot of pressure from family and the material results and all. So, like, can you talk about this for a few minutes, like how they can, so that many youth are online, they are watching.
They can follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction that if they are so miserable in their life for different reasons, now they miss the exam and career, they cannot find any good job, or their married life is not happy. So many reasons are there. You may know that the highest rate of suicide is in the richest country in the world. Which is the richest country? Sweden. The highest income per head is in Sweden, the richest country. And there you find the highest rate of suicide. So that means that material wealth and material circumstances are not helpful in making us happy to such an extent that those who are so rich, they want to give up their bodies. So anyway, those who are in this way disgusted and under heavy pressure, they want to give up their body. They should very carefully. This is where our preaching, as you go to colleges, university, this is one aspect of the preaching activity there, that we should convince the students that the human form of life is very precious. Not only because you are all students, very exalted family background, and you are all very intelligent, your future is very bright. Not for that reason, because that brightness, that good, favorable circumstance, now it is favorable today, tomorrow it may not be favorable. This is how material life is, going up and down. So when you are up, and when you will go down, what you will do? So human form of life is not for material acquisitions, but it is meant for spiritual realization. That is a message should be given to the students, so that even if they go down in their life under heavy pressure for whatsoever reason, but they have heard, if they can hear from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or from those who are preaching Krishna consciousness, they have heard that now I have the opportunity, yes, whatever these non-brahmacharis that have come and they have given us this instruction, human form of life is very precious because you can achieve perfection in this human body. So they will take up that instruction and they will not commit suicide. They will give up this idea and they will devote themselves for spiritual purpose. That will be the real, the material life they will give up. Not killing the body, but taking up the spiritual instruction and the spiritual life. So that is the message you can give to the students. That is be very auspicious. Any other questions? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for a very enlightening class, and how you spoke that Satī wanted to give up her connection with the Dakṣa, and she wanted to come back and be wife of Lord Shiva. And that later in the purport also Srila Prabhupada says that it was quite surprising that Dakṣa, although he had the responsibility to maintain all the living entities, actually Prajāpati, and also specifically he is the father of Satī, but instead of being in that role of protection and maintaining and caregiving, he actually became so hard-hearted that Satī had to give up her body. So same situation happens sometimes that somebody may have got the position of power, but instead of using that for the welfare of the dependents, one actually may harm the dependents. So how such a situation can be avoided? Specifically, if somebody gets the power, how they should behave such that they don't misuse that power. Could you explain a little more on this?
What is the solution for that person who is in a high post? And so he should not misuse his post. The post is meant for service. Even Prabhupada said many times that the position, everybody is a servant. Even the president, the chief minister, prime minister, They are telling, I have become Prime Minister just to serve you. Now, speaking to the citizens, I have come to serve the citizens. So the service is there, even for those in high post. High post should never be misused. So if somebody is given a high post, high position, high power, and if he misuses it, then just like in a democracy, Prabhupada also mentions, democratic rule that if the president misuses power, then the people, the citizens, will dislodge it. He will kick that person away from his post. So anyway, that high post should never be misused. It's a high responsibility. There is how to understand the meaning of high responsibility. There is a very good instruction that Prabhupada has given us in a morning walk conversation. Prabhupada was here in Hyderabad, and we were walking along with him here in Nampally Station Road. And at that time, Mahamsa Swami was there also. So Mahamsa Swami told Prabhupada, I have a doubt, I have a question. It is said in the literature, in your books, that those who are kings, the rajas, they have so much power, high post, and highly responsible, so much so that they have, if any of the citizens commit sinful activities, the Raja takes 1/3 of the papa karma. It is said like this in your books. The Raja has to assume 1/3 of the papa karma of the citizens. So, Prabhupada, my question is, I'm the temple president here. So, how much percentage do I have to assume also 1/3 of the papa karma of the brahmacharis in the temple? And Prabhupada said, 1/3, not 1/3, 100%. 100%. So this is how responsible is the post. So we have to understand it like that. If you misuse the post in any manner, so much papa karma you will get. But if you do it nicely, then you get all the highest benefits in your spiritual life. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai.